Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carli, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm your host, Carli, and today's episode is going to be so good. Today, I'm chatting with the incredible Ro Shah, a powerhouse when it comes to all things lead gen and automations. We actually connected on Threads a while ago, and let me tell you, the Threads algorithm is top tier, honey. It has been so amazing how it's brought me together with so many brilliant entrepreneurs, especially Ro, who all bring something unique to the entrepreneurship community. Ro is a former McKinsey consultant and software engineer with over 5 years of experience working in New York City. With a degree in computer engineering and a master's in systems engineering, Ro made a jump from corporate life to full-time entrepreneurship and is crushing it, making over 500,000 in sales within just 3 years. But what really makes Ro a gem is how her company has been empowering women of color entrepreneurs to create systems that scale their businesses successfully. It's so crazy because we probably would have never crossed paths just relying solely on Instagram. So shout out to Threads for making the conversation happen and making it easy. But today, Rose is going to be walking us through her signature method for building seven-figure systems that work for businesses of all sizes. And here's the best part. She's going to share practical tips and free automation strategies that even the busiest side hustling entrepreneur can use to get their lead gen game on point. So, in this episode, you will learn why posting on social media and waiting for clients is simply not enough, the power of proactive pursuit, going to get your clients instead of waiting for them to find you, how to use simple systems and automations to consistently generate new leads, why collaborating and networking can be powerful for lead gen, and how to build a sustainable strategy that doesn't leave you burnt out. I cannot wait for you to hear all the gems Ro is about to drop in this episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to tell you about a free resource I created just for you. Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done For You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress. Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, Ro. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited, Carli. Thanks for having me on. I can't wait to give you all my lead gen tips. Yeah.
Yes. So Ro and I actually met on Threads a while back, and it was so amazing because I think like the last couple of people that I've been having on my podcast, I've actually connected with on Threads, and I absolutely love the Threads algorithm. I remember us talking about it, like the Threads algorithm is top tier because we've been able to connect with people in our industry that all have different niches, but everyone is all a part of the entrepreneurship community, online businesses. And so I know that we probably would have never connected on Instagram if we relied on the algorithm on Instagram. But the fact that we've been able to connect on Threads was absolutely phenomenal.
And even just saying that Threads can be a lead generation machine for you, right? But yeah, like you said, the algorithm on Threads is something else. Like I've connected with so many people, had so many opportunities, and like it's even a lead generation machine for my business. So it's been amazing just to use it on top of everything else that we do.
Yes. So I'm so excited for this episode. So before we get started, I want you to introduce yourself and tell the people about how you got started as being a sales coach for entrepreneurs. Take us back to where you first began. Where were you? Were you working a full-time job? Were you doing other things? Take us from the beginning of your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, of course. So My name is Ro. I go by Ro, and you can find me everywhere on any platform, the Ro Shah. And I literally, like you said, I had a 9 to 5, and I always wanted to be a millionaire. I was like, ever since I was young, I remember I was like, I'm going to be wealthy. I need to be a wealthy woman. And I remember working my full-time 9 to 5 job, and I was pissed off because I got rejected for a promotion. I'm like, damn,
Mm,
how am I going to be a millionaire if I can't even make 6 figures? So I was like, all
mm.
right, if my boss is not going to give me my promotion, I'm going to say screw that, and I'm going to get my promotion myself. And that was how I
Wow.
started my business. And I had been wanting to start my business for years. I had a lot of failed side hustles, but in 2020, a magical app called TikTok came about. And I found my first business coach on there. I hired her, and I made $16,000 within the first 6 weeks because I was desperate. It was like literally right after I got rejected from my promotion. I was like, I need something. And then I found that it was perfect timing. And then it just built on from there. So I started my 9 to 5. And even though I ended up making my first 100K in 10 months, but I didn't quit yet because I was still scared. I was like, can my business make another
Mhm, mhm.
$100,000? So we actually did 100K in 12 months. So we actually almost doubled in the last 2 months of the year than we did all the first 10 months. So it was really exciting.
Wow.
And then I got some traction and I eventually quit my 9 to 5. But I had wanted to start a business forever. And the only reason I wanted to start a business was because I wanted more wealth.
Yes.
And yeah, why I became a sales coach is I actually started as a lead generation agency. I had a lead generation agency. I had 10 contractors under me, and we were just helping people, business owners, get sales calls all day. Like clients, they came to us. I'm like, okay, how many sales calls do you want on your calendar? And then we would work for them. And if you've heard the proverb, like, teach a man how to fish, they'll know how to do it their whole life, or do it for them and they'll eat for a day. That's what my lead generation agency was doing. We were
Mm,
fishing for people, but when we left, they're like, how do I do this myself? So that's why I
yeah.
became a sales coach, because they needed to learn outside of us just doing it for them.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you already just dropped so many gems. I really love the fact that you mentioned that. Like, teach a man how to fish and he'll be able to eat for decades. And so I think about, like, from the beginning, take us back. So you started your Legion agency. That was your first business model
Yes.
that you built out before you pivoted into becoming a Legion coach.
Yes, exactly. So we were making a great amount of money. Like, we grew so fast, but I noticed this issue where after people would get booked out working with us, and they're like, okay, we don't need you anymore. So they would
Mm,
stop their lead generation, and then they would come back to us 6 months later, and they're like, we never should have stopped it because they had a capacity issue. They got so many clients, and then you need to always be generating leads just
mhm.
in case for a wait list as backup clients. When you stop that, your business starts stagnating.
Yeah.
And when they would be coming back, I'm like, we don't have space for you guys anymore. Like, you left, there's
Yeah.
no space because of our contractors. So that's when I started pivoting my business model and be like, okay, let me coach them because I can't hire more people to accommodate them. And then eventually we completely pivoted. But lead generation, I will say, is like the number one thing. If you're not generating leads in your business, you're not growing, you're not getting new clients, you're not making money. So like, you don't really have a business at that point. Yeah.
At that point, yeah. And so, with that being said, what would you say are some of the most common misconceptions about Legion when someone is first starting out? Because I know for myself, like, when I first started my business, I just thought, like, okay, all I'm going to do is just get on Instagram and post about my offers and hope that someone will magically see me. What do you think are some of the most common misconceptions when starting a business as it relates to Legion?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I bring it up all the time. Just because you have a business and you open the doors and there's an open sign online or in person doesn't mean there's going to be line waiting outside,
Okay.
waiting for people knocking on your door and waiting to pay the invoice. That's just unfortunately not how it works. And I think we're sold this dream in the movies and in social
Mm,
media that if you have an LLC, suddenly you're going to be rich.
yeah.
But that's where like marketing and sales come in. So in terms of lead generation, it's like you need to start going to the people. I call it my
Mm,
proactive pursuit method, like being proactive. So instead of sitting on your hands and waiting for people to come to you, you take the power back and you go after them.
yeah.
So I think a lot of times when people open their businesses, they're like waiting for their post to go viral, waiting for someone to DM them, waiting for someone to pay their invoice, waiting for someone to book a call and their Calendly. And I'm like, the waiting is killing you. It's killing your morale. It's killing your, like, the control you have over your money. It's killing your money, first of all. So what I always teach my clients is start talking to people. Like, literally, like even you, Carly, like, you have so many followers. If you wanted leads, you could just start sending some DMs and be like, hey girl, like, what's up? Are you interested in my service? And then that can lead the way to get more clients. So I'm like, just start with who you have. And even if you start at zero, like me, I had like 0 followers. I blocked my friends and family on my Instagram. I didn't want them to see, but I just started DMing people. I was like, I DM my ideal client. I'm like, okay, what do you need help with? Oh, I help you with this. Do you want to get on a call? And then we would book people in. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I tell people all the time, like, pitching has been a game changer for me. So
Yes.
I started like my pitching, like having like the confidence to pitch, I would say, when I first became a influencer. So I started my journey as an influencer content creator back in 2018. And in that moment, like, when you have like 1,500 followers, nobody's checking for you. I'm like, I want to partnership. So I'm pitching to like brands, small businesses, local businesses, all of these things. Like my bridal shower that I had was all like pitch partnerships, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I tell people like even though I had that muscle that I kind of was already working as a content creator, it helped me tremendously whenever it became to business because I was confident to put myself out there. I remember when I first started, when I first started my business, I would send about 15 pitches per week. That's all I had the capacity to do at the beginning. But my first client that I actually secured when I started my business was from a pitch. And she actually like I DM'd her. I'm like, hey, I see that you just launched your business. You need some content. I want to help you market your business. I would love to come, hop on a call to tell you a little bit about what I do. And once I got on the call and sold her my services, she was like, this is exactly what I need. And it was like an easy drop in a bucket. So I say pitching, it can be daunting because you're like, I got to shoot my shot and you're putting yourself out there. And sometimes you don't get a response. But the good thing is that if you send like 10 to 15 pitches, one of them are likely to convert.
I say lead generation is like dating, right? If you've ever been dating around, it's like you're looking at your phone, staring at that one person, like feeling desperate that they're like, you have plans on Friday night, right? All your plans and hopes and dreams are on that one person. I'm always like, have a backup. Make sure you ask girlfriends if they're free for dinner in case this person doesn't show up, right? Like, always have a plan. It's the same kind of energy or vibe. Like, you never want to be putting all your eggs in one basket on one lead. That's why you send 10 to 15. So you have that carefree energy. You don't feel desperate. And it's also a catch because there's always someone in the pipeline for your lead generation for your business. And you never feel the need to pressure anyone because you're like, all right, if they don't buy, someone out of the 15 messages I just sent will. So it helps to detach from everything. Yeah.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And so I want to talk about lead gen strategies. So the strategies that someone can use when they're first getting started. Maybe they're at ground zero, maybe they don't have a portfolio. Like, what do you feel are the first steps to do before pitching yourself or before putting you out there to start attracting leads to your business?
Everyone needs an ideal client. So if you said a service provider, right? So let's say they do hair, right? If you're focusing on hair and let's say you want to focus on moms, where's the social media platform for moms? Is it TikTok? Is it Instagram? Is it YouTube? Like, where are you going to go to find moms? Now, if you think about it, most moms have private Instagram accounts. So they're going to be a little bit harder to find. But if you, let's say, start using hashtag moms, or you start collabing with a mom influencer who already has an audience full of moms, then that's a little bit easier because you can just borrow their audience. That's one way. My favorite is, like, you have to understand if your leads are 9-to-5ers or if they're other business owners. 9-to-5ers are a little bit trickier to find because before you had a business, you probably had a private Instagram account. You are not trying to go viral. You're just trying to maybe talk to your friends, post pictures of you and your dog, right? 9-to-5ers have private Instagram accounts, but if you target business owners, they're pretty much public. You can find them anywhere. So if I look up hairstylists on Instagram, they're very easy to find. But if I look up moms, they have a lot of private accounts. So you have to decide who's your ideal client. And then you just start messaging people. I like use the two-step method, which is empathize and ask an open-ended question. So look at their content, give them a genuine compliment. Like you're a girl at the mall and you see another girl with cute shoes, right? You're not in the corner being like, how do I compliment her the best way? Or what's the best thing to say? No, it's just in the moment. You're like, oh, girl, you have cute shoes. Same thing on Instagram. You give a quick, genuine compliment, and then you ask a leading question, being like, I love your shoes. How long have you been a business owner? Content, I like how you talked about this hairstyle. What made you start your business, right? And then that gets the conversation going versus those spammy messages being like, hi, I do XYZ and this is $1,000. Do you want to pay me? It's like, those are the people you block. You want to be able to send genuine messages to people to eventually pitch them, but you need to get to know them a little bit first. Yeah.
Yes, I love that you mentioned that because I feel like when I first started, I was the spammy people. I'm like, hey, I love your page. I love that you do this, but hey, I can help you do this and help me. I want to book a call with you to help you shoot your content. And it's like, yeah, that's a part of the reason why my conversion rate was so low. But
And if you are still a new business owner and you haven't listened to this podcast episode, then you need to go on that journey of sending the spam messages. But then you'll eventually learn, okay, I need to get to know them. It's kind of, again, like dating, right? On your first date, don't want to hear the other person say, let's go to the altar right now. It's like, ask me about my hopes and dreams. Like, ask me about my goals, right? Before you go straight to like, let's get married and pay me $1,000 and be my client. Yeah.
Yes, I love that you said that because I think that that's one thing that I do see helps out a lot. Like when I follow people on Instagram and I'm like liking their stories and I see stuff and then I, shoot my shot at that point, you're more likely to get someone to book a call or something because they're like, oh, I've seen this person like my content or I've seen this person respond to my stories or something of that sort. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Bit like dating, like you don't want to come off as like that rando that's desperate for a date or sales. Same thing, like detached energy, send messages and get to know them a little bit before going to the altar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to ask you, how important do you feel that having content on your page is important before pitching yourself to a person that aligns with your ICA?
For a long time, I had a lot of trauma around posting. I was very scared. I had someone that I was trying to avoid in my personal life. And I actually was scared of going viral. I was like, I can't go viral because it will affect my personal safety. Like if this person finds me. So that's why I did this DM lead generation method, because if you feel too scared to go viral or post content and your safety is at risk, I was like, I still got to make money in my business, right? I'm gonna let that stop me. I would post photos of like my face. I know there's a lot about faceless marketing, but like I still posted my name. I had photos of me, but I was wearing a hat and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll post 2 or 3 photos just to show I'm a real person. And then I'm going to do all the work in the DMs so I can gain relationships, pitch, and then sell. And that I'll say content is important to show people you're a real person in like America or wherever you're based out of, right? So they don't think you're a spam bot. But other than that, it's just to show you're a real person authenticity. And then you could do lead generation however you want, whether that's DMs or content or whatever. I put it this way. This is a great metaphor. Think of a wedding. I know I'm sticking with weddings. Think of a wedding invite, right? You get a mass wedding invite to someone's wedding. And you're like, cool, you got it in the mail. To me, that's like content. You send out content to a mass amount of people. It's not personalized. It's a mass amount of content to hundreds of people, like a wedding invite. Versus one of the girls texts you and be like, hey, Carli, I need you by my side there. I cannot walk down the aisle unless I see you sitting in front row. That's a DM. That's a personalized invite for you to go. So what are you more likely to do? Are you going to go because you got a mass wedding invite, or are you going to go because you got that personalized, Carli, I need you there. I need you by my side. Like you're more likely to go with that personalized message. So that's the difference between content and DMs. Content is to nurture, DMs is to close.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so at the beginning, when you found yourself like posting content or not posting as much content of your face or of you, did you find that you had a higher conversion at that point than you do now? Because I know now you have a lot of content of yourself on there. But did you feel like there was a difference, as you could see, in your conversion rates of like actually getting paid a client when you first started versus now?
Might have taken me maybe a week for someone to get on a sales call. Now it maybe takes like a day because people just see my content. They stalk me a little bit. They see how long I've been in business. And then they just book a sales call, right? Like I literally was talking to someone on Saturday, they booked a sales call for Tuesday, right? Just through the DMs. A couple of years ago, when I didn't have any content, there was nothing to see. It's like, is this a real person? So they only have maybe 3 or 4 posts to go off of. And then it was like doing the extra work of sending a voice message so they could hear my voice, making sure I'm a real person. So I wouldn't say one is it's really based on your experience. Like the only reason this method worked for me was because I was so scared of posting content. If you don't have the same problems I did like 5 years ago, post content. Like, but if you're very scared, like I was, and you're coming out of a very scary situation where you can't post content for your safety, then this lead generation method I'm teaching is like very, very safe, and it can make you a lot of money. It did for me. Like the first year I made 6 figures, and it wasn't the normal way of what everyone says, post a ton of content. Yeah.
No, that's good, because I think I have a lot of people that are on social media because they feel obligated to be on social media, but they would rather, just have that one-on-one interaction with someone and not feel like they have to post a ton of content every single day or however many times a week in order for them to be able to convert and get new leads into their pipeline. That's really good. That's a really good point. I really love the fact that you talked about the voice memos, because that's been another thing that I've started to be comfortable with. I don't know why at the beginning I was not comfortable sending voice memos, but now I like overboard. Like anytime someone texts me, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna send you a voice memo, because one, I'm probably multitasking. Two, you can hear my voice and actually put a voice to a real human rather than me just sitting there typing out a dissertation of all of the things that you want me to talk about. But also, I think that it does build that connection, and you can really feel like my vibe, because it's not the whole like super edited. It's just very organic conversation.
Anyone can give a compliment, right? Anyone can ask a question, but no one has your voice. No one has your tone. No one has like the little, like when you're smiling, you can kind of hear it on a voice. Laughing, you can hear it. You can't, like, sure, an emoji, but emoji is nothing compared to a voice message, right? So do what you're comfortable with. If you can't, I used to cringe at hearing my own voice, right? So I would literally send a voice message and then throw my phone across the room and then try to, because I was like, oh my God, they're hearing my voice. But do what you need to do. Like if it feels too cringy, send one and then be done for the day. But then send another one tomorrow. Like don't let it end, but just do one little lead generation method, whether it's sending a DM, sending a voice message, messaging a mom influencer to collab. Like do something. You need to be generating leads every single day for your business to grow, or it's not going to. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. So let's get into it. Let's get into the tea, right? So, how can business owners create their own lead gen system? Like taking them from the start, like what are some practical tips that they can implement today in order to start getting the rhythm of taking the time out to have like lead gen strategies in their business?
I think a lot of times people are like, I don't want to niche, da da da. If you want to make money, you kind of need to niche. Like, sorry, not sorry. If you want to be an influencer, you kind of don't need to niche. But if you're selling a service or a product, and I'm talking about a digital service. So like if you do social media management, it helps to niche. So one, figuring out your niche. And I always say your niche is either your best friend or who you were in the past. So for me, I started working with accountants. My whole family is in the banking industry. My dad was. So I was like, all right, I know them like the back of my hand. I know how stubborn they can be. I know their personality, right? But I was not trying to target people who didn't relate to me. I think a lot of the biggest mistake I see is when people try to target rich people. They're like, I want rich clients. And I'm like, you targeting a doctor looks so fake because you have no business working with them. You don't know their struggle. Like they're going to look at you as like, this person's trying to scam me for my money, and it looks inauthentic. I'll give an example. One of my mentors, she only worked with doctors. She wasn't a doctor. No one in her family was a doctor. But since she was born, she had heart surgery. And then every year she went back for plastic surgery across her chest. And then, as she grew up fixing that, she knew the surgery lingo. She had a good story. And when she went to surgeons, they're like, okay, this girl knows our world because she's been in the world for years. Versus you coming along being like, you're a doctor, you make 6 figures, let you be my client. The story doesn't match up. It's off, right? So you need some kind of connection point. That's your niche, number one. 2, where's your niche, right? Doctors are going to be on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Coaches are going to be on Instagram. So don't go on TikTok because you're trying to like focus. You're You want to be there? Cool. If you're there, but where's your niche? Choose the option that makes sense, right? Don't go for moms because that's a long-term game. If you want to sell this week, go on the platform that has a bunch of moms. That's easy for you to find. And then 3, start sending DMs. Start having conversations. Post, right? You said that you started influencing. Of course, post if you feel comfortable. But start talking and be like, do you have a problem? Cool, I can solve it. Let's get on a call. Let's get on a sales call. That's it. That's all you need to do. Of course, we could talk
Yes.
about building an offer, but like this
Yes.
is just straight lead generation, what I just mentioned.
Right. Well, I feel like you have to already have an offer because like
Yeah.
why are you sliding in DMs if you have nothing to offer? But I think that goes back to your original first step is being able to niche down. And I feel like a lot of people we sometimes we find people that start businesses
Mm,
out of the passion but not actually solving a problem. And it's cool to have a passion, but I think like when you have a passion that doesn't really provide a solution to someone, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to make money from that business model. Not saying it's impossible, but people typically are throwing money at you when you are solving problems and you're taking problems off of their plate. Rather as if this is just a passion, you're trying to convince someone to, have this problem, you're more than likely not going to be able to convert. But I also love that you brought up the topic about serving either your best friend or a previous version of yourself because I feel like when it comes for me as a marketer to my clients, people just, oh, well, you've always been online and you always, but it really goes back to show that was really one of the things or one of the reasons why I became so passionate to start my podcast was because this is part of a community that I'm still a part of, but I don't do my business full time yet. But I feel like when it comes to me coming up with content ideas, when it comes to me curating offers, I have insight to where I can think about myself, okay, like where was I 2 years ago? What was my biggest problems? What is something that I really, really needed to help me move a step forward, a step further in the right direction? And so when you have that history, when you have that knowledge, when you have that idea of a person, you can always refer back to. It's like whenever you find yourself stuck, you can always refer back to that person. Like I can refer back to previous me. I have a friend that always asks me questions that because she just started a business as well. So I always go between either me, previous me, or my best friend that is also in this place that I was in. And it helps me to really have that clear connection of being able to provide solutions with my content, with my offers, and with everything else that's within my business model to where now whenever I pitch myself to people that are also similar to those people, you're more likely to land because they feel like you literally get them.
you need to know them like the back of your hand. And that's why I'm like, it needs to be a past version of you, your best friend or someone that you've grown up with. Because if you're out here trying to guess their problems, it's going to take
Mm-hmm.
you longer. There's no way I would have been able to make so much money if I was guessing, right? You need to know. And I'll be honest, like I
Yeah.
did just want to start a business to make money. I did not know I was going to focus on this particular niche, but I had to do the work. And that's why I would not have made the money I did if I did not find the right
Yeah.
mentor. Like that business coach did change my life. And I was trying to build businesses on my own. I read every business book in Barnes and Nobles, I swear to God. But I say this a lot. I'm like, if someone could just take out all those books and just be like, hire someone, put your money where your mouth is, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Like, yes, you could listen to this podcast and learn lead generation. And I'm sure you could like figure it out, but you figuring it out could take 10 years versus you just hiring someone could take 6 months. And that was my problem. I was trying to do it myself for
Yeah.
5, 6 years. All these I have an Instagram graveyard of failed businesses. And then I never hired someone. And then I finally made the leap. I was scared as hell. Like I was dry heaving, putting my credit card down for that first person. But I showed up, right? When you feel that money pinch and you're like, oh my God, my money's on the line, like you show up differently than just reading a $10 book or a $10 freebie at Barnes and Nobles. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. For sure. And that was one of the
Yeah.
biggest investments that I made in early on was hiring my business coach. And it offered me so much clarity. It made me feel like I didn't have to figure it out on my own. I had someone that had already been in this place that I'm in that could offer me clarity, that can help me organize my thoughts, that can help me come up with a strategy to execute to reach my goals. And so I'm all for like, if you find yourself in a place where you're just like, hey, I don't know, like I definitely would suggest you get a business coach because it was a game changer in my business.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. So I agree. Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real, the algorithm is unpredictable, and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout and you'll get 50% off your Flowdesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building an email list that actually converts, try Flowdesk for free. And don't forget to use the code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout for that exclusive 50% off. I agree. I agree. And so I know that we were talking about your last step was to post and was to send DMs. And so a lot of people are terrified, shaking in the boots about sending a DM. Like, what does that look like when you're reaching out to someone? Like, walk us through your process of sending a DMs and like, what are the things that you send in order for them to actually be able to convert to book a call or whatever the next step is? Let's take my niche. Use me as an example, okay? I have my content creation agency where I batch shoot content for women entrepreneurs.
Perfect. Okay, so women entrepreneurs, right? I can't type that into the Instagram search bar because it's too big, right? I'm going to type in eyebrow artist in the search bar. I should see like 100 eyebrow artists. It's very easy to find them because their work is visual on Instagram. Now, go through each one. I do it on my phone, right? I'm like going to look up eyebrow artists. I find 100. Okay, cool. Now I pick one, anyone. It doesn't matter. And I, again, like, think back at the mall. You're just quick compliment. You shouldn't have to think about it. It's like a 5 second scan. What do you like about this person's Instagram? Do you like their brows? Do you like their aesthetic? Do you like how she's a woman of color? Like, do you like how she shows off her heritage? Something, right? Cool. So let's say you like her brows. You like how she does her brows. Maybe she puts gems on them. You've never seen that before. You say the compliment. You just DM her and be like, hey, name, I've never seen anyone do eyebrows like you have. How did you get this style? I kind of skipped forward. I asked a question, right? But I complimented and then I asked a question of like, how did you even come up with this eyebrow technique? I've never seen it. They're going to reply. They're going to be like, oh, well, I thought of it when I was 14 and da-da-da. They're going to tell you their story. And then you lead. Okay, cool. I'm so interested. Like, what made you become a business owner? People love talking about themselves. Then they tell you their story. You're like, cool. What challenges do you have with content creation? See, now you're pivoting a little bit to what you need because they talked about themselves. You learned about them. Cool. You empathize, be like, oh, that's so cool. You started your business up for, I know I'm like, but you literally just go off and be like, hey, cool that you started your business. You empathize and then you ask a question. Be like, oh, I love helping the community with content creation. What do you struggle with? They're like, oh, I cannot film for the life of me. You're like, cool, I help with that. Do you want to get on a call? That's it. That's it. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 DMs back and forth. You do that for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah. I was just about to ask. So, do you like a lot about a certain period of time to send out so many DMs?
I was working in the office in my 9 to 5 and I hated it. So I was like, all right. So while I was walking from one meeting to another, I had my phone out. While I was in the bathroom, hiding, I was like, I have my phone out, right? Yes.
It's okay. No judgment. I'm like, here I am standing in my shower,
Exactly.
sending
I was like,
messages on
I hated my 9 to 5.
Instagram,
So I was
no
like, I'm
judgment.
going to hide in the bathroom for 5 minutes and send these DMs. So like, that's what I did, right? And then if I was waiting for my tea to heat up when we got to work from home, I was like, okay, let me wait for my coffee to brew. I'm just staring at the coffee pot. Okay, let me send a DM, right? So there's little pockets of time in your day that you're probably filling up with music or scrolling on social media that you could just fill up doing lead generation. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the little spaces you have between your meetings or after you drop your kids off from school. If you have kids, like, those are all pockets of time that you could just DM. Yeah.
Pockets of time.
So very simple.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I know that there's somebody probably listening that's like, I hear you, but sliding in the DMs is just not my thing. Like, what are some other lead gen strategies that they could implement into their business model to be able to still attract those clients?
Instagram, you can post content, try your best with content, send the DMs. If you don't like that, you can always collaborate. So podcasting is a lead generation method, right? You could go like, I'm on your podcast, right? That's lead generation. Or you can have an IG live with someone. That's lead generation. When we do an IG live, you're going to see all of my followers. That's lead generation for you and your podcast, right? So there's different ways that you could collaborate on Instagram. If you go on Facebook, Facebook groups are a gold mine. You just post in there and be like, hey, I'm so and so, so excited to be in the group. And then you post a poll. What are you struggling with the most? I'll take your eyebrow example, right? You go into an eyebrow group and you're an eyebrow stylist. What are you focusing on most? Shaping, color of eyebrows, arch style, right? And then whoever responds, you'd be like, okay, hey, if you responded to this poll, send me a message, book a sales call, like book an appointment, right? So that's friend Facebook groups. And then the last one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn's really powerful. You can post on there. Same thing with polls. It's like, what do I call it? I call it like the honeypot method, where it's like you just post a poll, that's the honey, and then people will come. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm interested in this. Let me message her. Let me book a sales call with her. But I will say the DMs are a little unavoidable though. So like, post does go viral, people are going to be DMing you. So I'm like,
Yeah.
are you scared of your friend texting you? Like, where is that? If you're scared of initiating the conversation, are you still scared of you getting the first message? That's what I'd be curious about. So if someone messages you, are you going to ignore them? Because that's something you need.
Yeah.
That's a sale. Like, why are you ignoring DMs if people are DMing you about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Now, do you know of any like automation tools or systems that people can use to make this process easier?
Website, you can just type it in and you'll see it, theroshaw.com. And there's literally a list of automations that I provide. But if you're not living under a rock, you've probably seen ManyChat. Everyone uses ManyChat now, and your content needs to go viral for that to work, right? So if you work with an influencer like you, right, and your content goes viral, people are going to be commenting. You still need to learn how to close in the DMs, but all those comments, ManyChat will just send out that automated, hey, I'm Carli, here's my service, do you want to work together? So I really like using ManyChat. Another one I really like using is Zapier. Zapier connects a lot of different softwares. So if you're using Facebook groups, let's say Instagram is not for you, you don't like Instagram. If you're using Facebook groups, Zapier can help you track all the people that you're talking to. Put in an Excel sheet and then you have a tracker. Or you're like, oh, I talked to Sally on Tuesday, I need to follow up with her. And my favorite is Airtable. It will follow up with people. So a common example I like giving is like, Carli, do you know who you talked to on March 3rd, 2024, like a year ago? Probably not. I don't know. That's when we're filming this, right?
Absolutely not.
So Airtable will do this cool thing where it sets up a 5-day reminder being like, hey, I haven't talked to you in 365 days. What's up? And that freaks out because they're like, oh my God, my life hasn't changed.
Whoa.
I'm still stuck in the same place. And I haven't talked to Carli in a year. And I've sent those follow-ups through Airtable, and it blows people away of like, my life hasn't changed. I need to hire Roma. And that email is like life-changing for most people because they notice it's 365 days since they last talked to you. They're still in the same place. And you don't even have to say anything. That email does it all for them.
Same spot.
You just have to say, hey, it's been a year since we talked, and there's nothing else I need to say. And then their whole mind gets to work for me. Yeah. Yes. So if you go to my website, theroshaw.com, you can find how to do that and all the free templates that we give you when you sign up for our email list. I'll send it to you.
I will be there. I've been in this place of like really obsessing over automations because I just love the fact that my business can work behind the scenes while I'm working my job. Like I don't have to worry about sending out proposals. I don't have to worry about sending follow-up emails. I don't have to worry about sending contracts and invoices and making sure people pay. Like everything is just on automation. So whenever I find like a new automation, I'm like, oh, tell me more about this automation. And I think automations are insanely great, especially when you're a side hustling entrepreneur, because obviously 8 to 9 hours out of your day is spent at your corporate job and then commuting. And then if you have kids, that's also more time that's being gone. And then depending on how many hours you sleep in a day, that also is, so that only leaves you with like 2 hours to get a whole bunch of things done. So if you can have something working behind the scenes for you, as far as like your automations for lead gen, you are winning, my friend, because man,
I love it. Yeah. You can even do cool things where it's like if someone clicks an email, they'll be like, oh, what happened? Why didn't you check out? Like, what's up? And then that can start a conversation too. So there's a lot of different, I think of it like you have a sales process. Where are the holes that people are falling through? So are people just not clicking on your checkout page? Do you have an audience? Are people, if you had a sales call and they didn't book, that's what the 365-day follow-up is for, right? So like they don't forget about you a year from now. So think about every part of your process where people fall through. Does your content go viral? Do you have a way to follow up with all those people that commented hello and ManyChat DM them, right? So all those little processes all need, you're bleeding money, so you need to fill up the gaps with automation.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned follow-ups because I think that it's so easy for us to like, okay, I sent the DM, they didn't respond. That's just that. But then people don't understand that there's power in the follow-up without feeling like you're annoying someone because people are like, if I send them another, if I double back, if I double text, if I double email, I'm being annoying. And it's like you can't be annoying when you run a business. Like, Fashion Nova
block them. They kept
like
sending me
5
messages
emails a
on
day.
Facebook Messenger, and I would buy it. Like I would be like, okay, this is a good follow. But I like to give this example, right? If you have a sibling, Carli, or anyone listening has a sibling, has your sister, brother ever ghosted you? Have they ever left you on red? Are you upset? Are you crying in the corner about it? Or are you like, damn, I need to message them again? Damn, I need to call them out. Why didn't you respond back to me? Right? How do you really act when a close friend or family member doesn't respond to you? You don't cry in a corner. You're like, what the hell is wrong with them? Where's that energy in the DMs? That's what Fashion Nova feels like. It's like, why is this person not responding? Same thing. The person who didn't reply or ghosted you, it's not all about you. Maybe they had a baby in their arms as they were walking out the door. Maybe their boss literally just called them as they were about to take your ego out of the equation and just follow up. If Fashion Nova can do it, so can you. And also, if your sister or brother have ever ghosted you and then you followed up and you double texted them, what's the difference with this stranger?
Yes, I love that. I love that because even though Fashion Nova blows up my phone, like I still am on their mailing list. I have been unsubscribed, so I'm still true to it. No, I love that. I love that. Well, I absolutely love this conversation. And so before we go, I did want to ask, what is one piece of advice that you would give an entrepreneur that is looking to master their lead gen and their sales and take initiative to do really well this year?
Like, cool, listen to this podcast and do what I told you, but just hire someone, please. Like, make your life easier. Like I said, I wish I started my business when I was younger, but no one told me that mentorship costs money. No one's going to give you all unless they're your mom or dad and they love you and they will just give you all their business team for free. But put your money where your mouth is. Just invest in something, whether it's like a little freebie or a mentor, like you just need help. It's gonna put a fire under your butt to actually do the work.
Yeah. Especially if you know that you can't be consistent and you can't commit to the time to do it yourself. Because if you're finding yourself like, oh, I've tried this, but I haven't been consistent with it, then why not get some help? That's what I tell people. Like, if you find yourself struggling to be consistent with content, like, why not hire somebody to help you get your content done for you? If you know that you're going to be able to make that money back, if you know that hiring somebody to do your lead gen and your outreach for you is going to make your money back and then some, like, why not hire somebody?
One where it's like, I can do it myself. And I'm like, okay, cool. God be with you. Go figure it out. And then they come back a year and be like, I can't. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do the work. Right. So it's like, you got to decide what stage you're in. Are you ready to invest in yourself and you're ready to do the work? Or are you still in the stage where you're like, I'm still going to do a bunch of freebies? And just be honest. If you're in the freebie stage and you're not in the position to really go all in on your business, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I was stuck in that for years. But if you're like, I've done everything for free on my own, like, just put some money there. Like, do what you need to do, save some money from your paycheck and put some money there. Cut some costs and put money down for your business so you can grow. Yeah.
I love that. That's so awesome. Well, Ro, thank you so much for joining us on the Side Hustler podcast. But before you go, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your services? And where can they follow you online?
You could follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram. Shoot me a DM and we could talk. But you could go find me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. We have like a TikTok account. You could find me at the Ro Shah. You could just go to our website, theroshah.com, and they'll have the automations we talked about with all the follow-ups, the yearly follow-ups and all of that, and all the lead generation methods I give. We have like a 5-day sales challenge where we focus on you generating leads within 5 days. You could do that for free. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I know that you had a special offer for our listeners that are currently listening.
If you're listening to this podcast, all you need to do is DM us Carli and we'll send you a special like offer for lead generation and automation. All thanks to Carli's podcast. And thank you and make sure you guys leave her a review, leave her a rating. Like she's great at what she does. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. This was awesome. And I'm so happy that we're connected. I cannot wait to continue our journey of business friendpreneurship.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler Podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carli Dorlin. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.